And again, not a significant amount of changes in the past year. It seems that legislatures and parliament had their hands busy with other things going on, so there wasn't a ton of legislative issues coming down the pipe. But one of the changes that did come into force in 2022 was the introduction of paid medical leave for these federally regulated employees. This act had been introduced back in 2021, and there was a provision, it actually received royal assent in 2021, and there was a provision in this act that said Parliament had a year to effectively create a date when paid medical leave would come into force. And then the year essentially expired, and it came into force as of December 1, 2022. In 2022, this trend continued with a number of decisions. So some grievances had been brought in the 2021, beginning of 2022, worked their way through hearings, arbitration decisions, and in 2022, multiple arbitrators have issued decisions with the majority of the decisions saying that these mandatory vaccination policies are a reasonable exercise of management rights, and an unpaid leave for an unvaccinated individual is a reasonable response.
As employers were considering how to review and assess requests for religious accommodation, there were lots of questions. Did the religion have to prohibit receiving the COVID vaccine? Was that required to be a requirement or tenet of the faith? What impact did pronouncements by leaders of the faith encouraging their members to become vaccinated, what impact did that have? The outstanding question from 2021 was, how would these religious belief exemptions be addressed? The cases of 2022 have told us that they're being addressed or assessed liberally. When we reviewed this case last year, we cautioned our attendees to say, listen, this is an interesting decision. There are other cases that are contrary to it. So let's just continue to see what happens with it. And sure enough, the court struck it, found that it was an unreasonable decision. The court held that, the dangerous nature of a workplace by itself is not alone to justify imposition of random drug and alcohol testing. The employer needs to be able to, show that there is a problem with drug use in the workplace, and that had not been provided. And that in this case, there had not been a proper balancing of, the employer's, need to protect its workers and also the employee's privacy rights, and to reduce the intrusion that testing has into their employees' right of privacy.